Okay, so the educational philosophy I chose that fits me the most is progressivism, and I chose this because the whole way throughout the chart it really shows that the teacher is more of a leader instead of someone that is more of an authority figure, that um, someone who um, helps the students to learn so their growth leads to new development, new learning, and understanding new concepts. And I like how it says that the teacher guides them instead of, if a student asks a question and the teacher is like, this is how you do it. In this type of philosophy, I believe that the teacher is there to help the child through that problem, not to just say, okay, this is how you do it, and then have the kid do it that way. I also like how, under the curriculum focus, it talks about how it's based on student interest, and I think that's a huge part of the classroom. You really need to listen to what your students want in the classroom, because this way the classroom runs more smoothly and the students are more motivated to join in because it's about what they want to learn about, not what you think they should learn about. And I also like how it says there are activities and projects, and I think that's another big part of the classroom, because students need to be able to do the activities in class with each other, on their own, with the help of the teacher, in several different ways, so they get experience with this concept. The more experience they have with the concept, especially hands-on, the more likely they are to understand and like and get that concept. And I also like how the related curriculum trends are, it says relevant curriculum, which I think is really important because, if students are just learning about things that are timeless or things that really don't matter, then it's going to make them less motivated and probably hate school more than if they were able to learn about what they wanted to. So I really like how it says relevant curriculum. I would have to say the philosophy that does not fit me would be the perennialism. And my reason is for that is it's basically all opposite of the philosophy that fits me the most. For example, under knowledge, it says focus on past and permanent studies, mastery of facts and timeless knowledge. Yeah, it's important to know what's going on in history and to know certain facts. However, I just think that being learning off of Socrates or some type of other older philosophy is kind of outdated now. So I feel that I definitely would not pick this philosophy for me. I also feel that this philosophy really doesn't mention anything about the students being first or the students picking what's going on or doing in-class activities, things like that. So I think that really takes away from the whole education process when you take away those hands-on learning experiences. The role of the teacher, I would have to say for me, would be to guide the children, to help them through their struggles, and just to make sure that they're understanding the curriculum that you're teaching them, just to make sure that none of them are falling behind. And I feel the ways that you could do this in a classroom, you could do group work, you could use groups of 3, you could do partners, or you could do an entire class. I also feel that you could have manipulatives always, no matter what the topic is or what theory, concept, whatever you're going over, you should always have a resource or more than one resource in the classroom to make sure that the students have somewhere to go if they're interested in learning more about this topic. So, for example, if you're talking about hygiene and you're talking about dental hygiene, there should be some type of resource in the classroom where the student can go look up that to learn more about after you talk about it if they're interested. So you could have a book, a computer. You could even do group work with that. So maybe have a picture of the mouth and the teeth and, have them count the teeth and learn the different kinds of teeth, things like that. And you could definitely do this all the way up into the high school, you can even do it in college, because there are outside resources, the library, the computer. So I feel the definite role of the teacher should not be to say, okay, this is what we're doing, now do it. It should be to guide the students and to help them in the learning process to make sure that they're understanding with your help, with their peers' help, and even outside help. To me, a good life would be being able to survive on what I have learned by by not having to struggle. So I'm not saying that a good life is having all the money and having all the riches in the world and things like that. A good life to me would be to make sure that you can survive and you can do the things in your life that you want to do. If you want to go shopping, then you can go shopping. If you want to take a trip, then you can. I think that a good life is based off what you want in your life. I don't think that everyone has the same view of a good life, and a good life to me is just having options to do as I please. My definition of learning would have to be understanding the curriculum that is being presented to me. I would have to say that you have to be able to evaluate this. So observing what a student is doing would be a good way of learning. So if you tell the student to color a grape, did they color it purple? That's a part of learning. You could also evaluate them based on trial and error. So they do an experiment, they do it one way, they try it again to see if it works another way. Those are a few ways that you could definitely define learning. I don't feel that learning is based off of student assessments. I think it's more based off of projects and activities where they can do trial and error, or they can have a hypothesis to guess and try to prove their hypothesis. And I feel that your educational philosophy would also be the progressivism, because you did do a lot of in-class activities, which was a lot of fun. We didn't just sit there and lecture all the time. There were a lot of group discussions, and we went on a field trip, and you just offered so many things for us to do outside of and inside of class, which made class so much more interesting than just going there and listening to a teacher lecture for 3 hours. I also feel that you're a guide to us, and you're not more of an authority. We can come to you and talk to you about whatever, and you're going to listen, and you help us through what we're asking you. You don't kind of just tell us how to do it. And I feel that throughout the class, the knowledge that I've learned has definitely led to growth and development in what else I am going to do throughout college. Other classes that I take of yours, or other classes that I take, even when I go back into the classroom to do more placement hours, everything that you have taught me has led to that growth. And I feel that everything you have taught me is relevant to what I will be doing for the rest of my master's program. So with that being said, I would have to say that that's your educational philosophy, and I really enjoyed this class.